Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. Today I'm doing something a little bit different. Of course, I'm more of a fighting game player. This is more of a fighting game kind of channel. But, even I love, some shooting games. And one of my personal favorites is Titanfall 2. So today, I'm going over Titanfall 2's Titans, which big funny robots, you gotta go over them eventually. When you think about Titanfall 2, probably the thing you think of when you think Titanfall 2. But anyway, so it's also going to be a little bit different, other than it being a shooting game, is that instead of it being different, just like tiers, like A, B, C, D, I'm just going to rank them individually ordered from 7th to 1st. I just think that's better because there's only 7 characters, well, Titans. So I just think that's better. All right. So without further ado, let's get started. So for number 7th and the worst Titan in the game is, unfortunately, I have to put Northstar here. Northstar is a very cool Titan. It has amazing poking with the sniper, being able to hit from, of course, far ranges, and just good poking. I don't know why I said that twice, but of course, if you're able to charge the sniper and get those hits, and hit the enemy titans in the face, it works very well because the damage is so well. Like, that's the thing that Northstar is good at, is her damage. So, that's kind of all she has, though, is that good sniper rifle. And while that is very good to have, and of course is the main reason why I could even say Northstar is a viable Titan to play, even though she's the worst in the game, in my opinion, everything else about Northstar isn't great. I mean, I guess, Northstar does have good movement, which is kind of an interesting pick, way to do a sniper. Like, when you think sniper, they're usually more stationary, but no, Northstar is a moving titan that snipes, like the fastest titan, as fast as Ronin, but is a sniper. I don't know. It's weird, but it's cool. It's cool. So her abilities are just not too good though. Like her missile, like her cluster missile, it's probably like okay. Like it is okay. It's just that its damage is nothing to talk about. It just I it's alright with crowds. I don't know. It's not great. I don't have much to talk about with that one. Now the traps, those one I could say something about. They're just bad. If you are shooting those traps at someone chasing you and they know what they're doing, they could just shoot those easily, slow them down for like maybe a second at most, and that's it. And honestly, probably less than a second. I'm just trying to be nice with that one, if I'm going to be honest. And then her flight. The flight is not great either. It's cool. I think it's cool that they have a flying titan, but how the execution is not good because it just leaves you out in the open. But you're so slow, and that's the point of Northstar. Is that Northstar is supposed to be fast, so that Northstar, doesn't get hit because Northstar only has those 3 health levels, squares, and then I guess the battery shield if you have it, which I recommend to have to always have your batteries as your ability with pilots, in my opinion, anyway. You know, it just all Northstar has is the movement and the powerful sniper. Of course, the flying. One thing I forgot to mention is that you can do, like, you can hover like with a wall that's higher than you would go, and then you could like when it's going to end, you could dash out, shoot one of the Titans, and dash back into the cover. That can be kind of decent, and I've seen them pretty well, but that's kind of a niche use, but a decent one when you can. I don't know. North Star's core, honestly, is kind of also underwhelming, but it's also the only thing North Star can do when, another Titan gets on you close range. That's kind of what you use is your core. That's kind of all North Star has for a close range. And the fact that when someone gets in on you, more than likely you have to run away, which is risky, even though you're fast. It can be hard and you could die and you're definitely taking damage. Or use a core as your only options. Well, only, feasible options, at least for the most part. Unless they're like really low on health. Kind of just shows the problems with this character. That, sure, really good long range with the sniper. Terrible just overall ability kit. I can't put Northstar any higher. Viper's cool though. Viper's cool. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, next up, I'm going to put Toad at 6. I don't know if this is controversial or not, but I don't think Toad's very good. My problem with Toad is that Toad is just such a one-trick pony. All Toad does is go into their position, put up the particle wall, and then start shooting you. That's it. Of course, the particle wall is very good. And of course, their core, salvo core, good damage. Not much else to say about it. The sonar isn't the best. It does help, though, to mix up a little bit, I guess, your locks, but I don't know. You could tell. And then, of course, the other one being the main, part of the main mechanic being the locks, and then you shoot the missiles after you have 3 locks. But that's also another reason why I kind of have to put Toad lower. Sure, it's good damage, but any character, if you're in a 1v1 with, almost any Titan, they can just use their shield abilities. Scorch can do it. Ion does it the best because you can just shoot it back at Toad. Legion it's a little bit iffy with Legion, but still can use the gun shield, I guess, but I wouldn't really count it. Ronin has the sword block, but you should be using it anyway. Or you can even just dash, use the phase dash. Honestly, the only ones who can't really deal with it are North Star, Monarch, and then kind of Legion, probably Legion. But the rest of them, if you're in a 1v1, even without Toad himself, you're probably not going to hit it with the particle. I mean, maybe you can in certain positions, but it can still be hard. But then, with those other ones, just being able to destroy your whole game plan in 1v1 kind of makes it where it can be hard to play Toad without having your teammates by you if one of those are the Titans you're fighting. But of course, I guess Toad with the particle wall could play, probably should play team player. That could be pretty decent. But really, the only good thing about Toad, except for having some pretty decent damage if they do get those missiles, are the wall, and then, of course, salvo core just being good damage. So, definitely has some better things than North Star, but not by much. Because of their other ability, the sonar just isn't great. Yeah, I have to put Toad here. Yeah. Next up, we have Legion. Now, Legion is probably the most simple Titan in this game. For the fact of all Legion does is just shoot the gun. You want to be there to shoot the gun. That's it. I don't know. There isn't much to say. Legion is the gun, not the Titan. You are the gun. You just want to, spray the gun. Keep saying it, but that's literally it. Does he do it well, though? Yeah, it's good damage for sure. Legion is all damage. But he's slow, the wall, the shield, the gun shield is pretty decent, but can still kind of be, you can still kind of be shot at in certain positions though, because it only keeps in front of you, and so it doesn't really cover all of him. But it still does help. And when you don't have that, you're just a sitting duck. But you still got to keep shooting because that's all Legion can do, right? But he does do it all right. And, with he's just great at damage. And of course, his smart core, you don't even need to aim anymore. Now he's just even more brain dead. So, honestly, I think Legion's probably the easiest Titan in the game because the only thing you need to learn is positioning a little bit better than other Titans. But, come on, you got to know that for, FPS games already. So, if you don't, you got to figure that out, whatever shooting game you're playing. So that's why I put him here, just because, he's got his, that whirl up blast ability's pretty good damage wise too. I don't know, yeah, he has some good stuff. And then he can switch his modes, for longer range. That also is good. Yeah, so he's good long range, close range, all that. So he doesn't have a range problem, just that he's so slow and he's a sitting duck. That's not great. He doesn't have as many things to deal with that because he can only get his full damage when he is out, not in the open, but shooting. But then he doesn't have anything to be moving to not get shot himself. So I feel like around this middle of the pack, his third worst, I think is alright for him. So next up, I'm taking Scorch. Now Scorch, so Scorch I have to put here. Scorch is my personal main Titan as of talking about this. I haven't played Titanfall as much as I used to, but he definitely was one of the ones I liked more than other ones for sure. So he also, Legion, only has the one dash. He's also slower. He's also bigger. Yeah, he has those same weaknesses. But he doesn't necessarily want to be out in the open like Scorch. And so that's what's good about him, is that, he doesn't want that. And, well, not good about it, but that kind of erases that problem of, sure, he's still slow, but he doesn't always need to be being shot at all the time just to get his damage, because all he wants, he has, his incendiary gas. I don't know, what do you call them? Mines or bombs? I don't know. It's up to you. Canisters, I guess. I'm just gonna say canisters. His canisters, very good and very powerful. He has the best damage in the game in the right positions. The greatest burst damage, the quickest damage, I would say. He just needs you to get into his domain, where he wants you to go in the small places. But he does also have one main problem. Because, other than the slowness, he seems kind of alright. His moves are pretty good. The fireball is pretty decent, Then, of course, his shield is also, very good because it lets him get in easier with his slowness. And when he does get in, he could use the shield to do loads of damage. And, of course, you can even upgrade the shield with that one kit that even makes it do more damage. But I personally think that tempered plating is better because it removes your weak spots, kind of like headshots for the Titans, and also lets you walk through the fire without taking damage, which is amazing. Not just for moving through with battleground, with the fighting, but just lets you get in closer even better and easier. And it's just, I would say it's the best one. And then, not being able to be headshotted technically is basically just makes it even better. But of course, his other problem is, other than being slow, is that he is the most map reliant Titan. Because on certain like maps, like the really open maps that don't have like the choke points and all that, he's the worst Titan in the game on those. But like the ones with the choke points and all that, he can become a menace if any of the Titans walk into his territory. So that's why I gotta put him here. Not at the top, not at the bottom. I think just this is a perfect fit. He, of course, is, I would say, the hardest Titan to use, him or Ronan, but I think I would give the edge to him a little bit. But I think that's up for debate, which one's harder. So yeah, Scorch, he's really, really cool. But, put him at fourth. So third, I'm going to put Ronan. Now, Ronan is also very hard. Like I just mentioned, but for different reasons. He's, of course, as mobile as Northstar, but he actually wants to get in instead of being farther away. But I think, being faster and having less range, even though, his lead wall shotgun doesn't have, like, only close range. Like, he can go a little bit farther. And then, of course, his sword, is also good damage. But he has things to deal with, like incoming fire when he isn't in that range. He has his sword block. He has his phase dash. He has just being really fast. Of course, he only has the 3 health bars, just like Northstar, and I forgot to mention Legion and Scorch also have more health, one more health than normal, like Ion, and the rest of them, just forgot to mention that they have less. Ronan and Northstar have less. Anyway, back to the point. Ronan, with that, sure, it's a little bit hard, it's a weakness, but then again, like I just said, he has the stuff to get in without taking as much damage. And then once he gets in, he has great damage. He has his electric like wall to shoot out that slows down your opponent movement, and even like their sensitivity will even slow down drastically, making it near impossible for you to shoot him. So I think he's good. I think you just gotta learn how to use him because he definitely is hard. Of course, the sword core is very hard to use, but can be, if used effectively, very good. I mean, honestly, all the cores of this game aren't too bad. Like even Scorches, Scorches is very good. I forgot to mention that as well. But anyway, but yeah, so I think Ronan, definitely. I don't have much to say. He's harder to play, but he has great things about him and great damage and just stuff like that. He also destroys Tone because of because of course when you get in on Tone, Tone has a very hard time getting you out. And when you're playing a very fast Titan with a shotgun that wants to get in, yeah, it's not going to be great for Toad. So if you have an annoying Toad on your team, maybe if you know how to play him, play Ronan. Ronan's great for that. But yeah, also if if a pilot is on you trying to get your battery, if you time it right, you can have it where they take a battery when you're in the phase dash, and then you can turn around and shoot them, and you get a free battery because it won't remove your battery. Little funny thing there. Just thought to mention that. But yeah, not much to say about him. So yeah, let's see. The next to be Monarch. Now, Monarch is different. Also, DLC character. Not, most don't remember that just because of how long ago it was, but yes, Monarch was DLC. Now, Monarch is a Titan I have a lot of experience with. Just used her a lot for a very long time because I just kind of like how unique she is. So, Monarch has, instead of like a regular core, has upgrades. You could choose what upgrades you want her to have. course, there's many different kinds of ones. Just changing your playstyle, you can have one that upgrades her gun. You can have ones that upgrade just her as a a general character, like like adding health, or even ones that upgrade her missiles, which her missiles are pretty decent, I will say. She also has you can even make her a little bit of a support character with them. Just so many different things you could do with Monarch. So you know, definitely versatile, and definitely is a character you want to like understand the game, but not because necessarily like her abilities or gun is hard to use, but she is a Titan because you want to get those 3 cores. You need to understand the game and to be good with her because she wants longevity of her health, of her life. Because when you first get her, she's all right, but then she gets better as it keeps going along, and the longer you can last without taking a lot of damage, the better. She also has, of course, one of my personal favorites, at least, kits being the battery stealer thief thing, where if you, finish off a Titan, you steal their battery, which also really helps that longevity, and I don't know why you wouldn't use it. You also got a pretty cool, different finisher animation, so that's kind of cool. So this Titan really is like, if you don't know who you want to play and you think you get the game enough, like you understand it, Monarch can mold to the kind of play style you want in a way, and that's really cool. When you run out of upgrades to get, her cores will just be like a battery, really, giving you your shields back, which is kind of nice. You know, So yeah, I think a very interesting Titan and very simple one. I would say her gun is the most like normal, if that's kind of a word to say. Like kind of the way to say it is just it's a good like kind of like assault rifle kind of weapon. That's pretty cool. Pretty good one. So and then of course one of her abilities that I personally really like is the reload, and once it recharges your 2 other abilities instantly, which of course being her missiles and her one to give her some shields back, which is also was nice to try to keep with that longevity. So yeah, it's kind of crazy that out of the 7, she's really the only one that can heal herself. So if you want that, maybe you'll like Monarch. So yeah, not much else to say, but that's what I'm gonna put her right here, number 2. So if these all are, of course, the other ones, of course, Ion is first. I used to not think Ion was the best Titan in the game. I used to think Ion was, more mid tier Titan, but I have now seen the light. Ion is a jack of all trades, but a jack of all trades done well. What I mean by that is that there's not a situation, of course, where she is bad, and every single other Titan, other than maybe like, I don't know. Basically, every other Titan has a moment where they're not as good as if it's a rage or situation, just whatever. Ion doesn't have that problem. So I think that's pretty cool. Of course, her shield to shoot things back isn't, of course, like the most amazing thing ever. But if you just deal with a brain dead legion shooting at you, oh no, you shoot all that damage back to them. Or if you see a North Star in the corner, maybe you could grab that bullet and then shoot it back at someone else, like high damage. So it definitely has its moments. Then, of course, I mentioned with that tone, you could shield the missiles and then shoot it back, which is probably its best use, if I'm honest. Because the only thing that doesn't really get grabbed by the shields are Ion's shots from themselves. So, yeah. Then, of course, Ion has the the traps, the tripwire, which is pretty good. It's just what good thing to have, to like slow down your opponent a little bit, or just to get them off guard with some good damage. If you know your placements well, you can also choose how close you want the three explosions to be, like bombs, I guess to call them, to be placement wise. If you want them more spread out or want them close together, you can pick that, which is great. And then, of course, her beam laser shot, which is her main source of damage, and then her secondary shot, which is good damage wise, of course, but with her main mechanic being the energy, where everything but her main primary and reloading and dashing, of course, take away from that energy. So you have to be conservative of that. That's like the main thing of Ion, is that if you learn to be conservative, you can be amazing. I personally like to use the kit where the tripwire does not take away from energy, because I think that that's just useful. So you could keep your energy uses to the beam and the shield, and maybe a little bit of the secondary, but I don't tend to use it too much. So she just excels at every situation, and if you learn to, like I said, understand like how to conserve the energy, she just becomes amazing. So yeah, not much else to say. I think that is the list. So leave your comments below. What do you think of this list? Am I wrong? Am I right? Can we get Titanfall 3, please, EA? Please. I beg you. Please. I'm desperate, okay? Please. 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 Hey everyone, and that's the end of the video. I just wanted to say I really appreciate the support I've had with the past couple ones, especially the Godzilla Save the Earth one, making over 100 views. I've been well over 100 views by the time I, am recording this. So I just want to say thank you so much for that. And I'm gonna ask, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, just because it really helps out and all that, you know. And I hope you all enjoyed the video, and yeah, so have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. So yeah, goodbye.